Hi everyone, this is Amy from the Helms Academy, and today we're talking about adding and subtracting decimals. So let's get started with a few reminders. So a decimal is a portion of a whole number, and you'll see our place value chart on there that has all the place value names. So everything that is to the right of that decimal point that you see in the middle there, those are the decimal place values. One spot over is the tenths, another spot over is the hundredths, another spot over is the thousandths, then the 10,000ths and 100,000ths. And you'll notice that an easy way to identify them is that they all end in that th sound. Now, when we're reading a number, we read whatever is on the left side first of that decimal, so any whole numbers we have, if we have them, and then we read the decimal point as an and then we'll read whatever decimal comes after it. Now keep in mind with a place value chart, everything that's further to the right has a smaller value and everything further to the left has a larger value. So one rule to remember when you're adding and subtracting decimals is to line up the decimal points. And we'll see that today in our examples. So let's get started with adding decimals. You'll see here it says 26 and 77 hundredths plus 3 and 4 tenths. Now I've written it both horizontally and vertically. And for our purposes today, it's going to be much easier to figure out the answer if we solve it vertically. So if you see something written horizontally, feel free to move it around, so that way it'll be easier to work with. Now, if you look at the vertical one, you see how the decimal points are lined up there, even if the numbers aren't exactly lined up to one side or the other. And I'm going to show you how to fix that. We just add a 0 anywhere that there's a missing point. So anything after the decimal, after we finish, for example, 3 and 4 tenths, if we add a 0 or 5 zeros or 100 zeros to that, it doesn't actually change the value. So we can add those zeros as placeholders to be able to solve this problem more easily. And you'll see also, I went ahead and dropped down in a straight line where the decimal point will go at the bottom, so that I make sure I keep that in the right place as well, because we know our answer will also have the decimal point. So we're going to start adding. Now, if you remember, we always start on the right side here, and then we move over to the left. So with this one, we'll start with that first column, which is 7 plus 0. Well, 7 plus 0 is 7, so I'm going to write 7 down below. Then I need to add 7 plus 4. Well, 7 plus 4 is 11. So we need to carry the 1 from the 11. The first one is going to go up to the next column, and the other one from the 11, the second one, is going to go down below. So now we know we have 0.17 or 17 hundredths. For our next one, you'll see 6 plus 3, but then we have to add that 1 at the top. So 6 plus 3 is 9, plus 1 is 10. So we'll put the 0 from the 10 down below, but carry the 1 up above, which means that we have 2 and 1, and that's just going to drop down together to make 3. So our final answer then is 30 and 17 hundredths. Now let's try it with subtracting. I did the same thing here. You can see the horizontal version or the vertical version. And I went ahead and lined it up again with the decimal point in the vertical version, which is going to be the easier way to solve. So again, if you see it horizontal, feel free to make it vertical so that it's a little easier to work with. So you can see my decimals are lined up, but there's a missing gap in my numbers. So what are we going to do? We're going to add that 0 again. So again, we can add zeros after our decimals have finished to as many as we want, and it doesn't change the value of the decimal that we're working with. So here we have 4 and 50 hundredths minus 1 and 24 hundredths. And you'll see I carried down that decimal place to the bottom so that we keep it in line with the right numbers. All right, so the first thing we need to do is do 0 minus 4, because remember, we're working from that right side over to the left side. Now, I can't do 0 minus 4. There's nothing, I can't go in the negatives yet. And so with that, I'm going to borrow from the next side over. So where we did have a 5, I'm going to change that to a 4 because I'm borrowing over to make my 0 a 10. And how I did that is I just add a 1 in front of the number that we have there. So 1, 0 is 10. So 10 minus 4 is 6. And now I have a 4 in my next column, so I'm going to do 4 minus 2 is 2. And the next spot over, I have 4 minus 1, which is 3. So my final answer is 3 26/100. Thank you so much for watching today. I hope you'll subscribe to our YouTube channel to get all the updates about our latest videos. You can also check out the Helms Academy on Instagram and Facebook and at helmsacademy.org.